From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 221. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve. Wow, if our podcast was a really old person, they could drink several times over.
It could. I think according to Patton Oswalt's rules of birthdays, the person who is 200...
Patton who?
Patton Oswalt.
Okay, what does he do?
He is what they call a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
He tells jokes while standing up in front of people.
All right,
hence, stand-up comedian. He's also, as I understand it, a stand-up guy.
Okay, he's not a molester or
no, not like Chester.
He didn't jerk off in front of anybody.
I wouldn't say that he's. I mean, I can't be sure. I haven't followed the man extensively.
Okay.
But in terms of whether or not he's jerked off in front of someone, I would be willing to bet that if he has, it was consensual.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he has been married twice.
I don't know. Some people don't like to do that. I've never actually done that. I don't think so.
I don't think
I might have been really hammered in the past, and
yeah, I don't think I've done that either.
That's never been one of my kinks.
No. I mean, if there's another person around, why not let them have fun? I mean, I get to have fun with my stuff all the time.
You're a giving person. I understand.
So yeah, if I'm with another person, why not let them play with my stuff and I'll play with their stuff? It's why would we play with our own toys?
You could play with my Teddy Ruxpin.
I've got a Buzz. I've got a Woody. You remember that cartoon? It was of a boy and a girl holding their Toy Story figures, and then the next one, underneath it was like one of those one panel things, and it was something like the caption was, strangely enough, they would have this same conversation 20 years later, except not with dolls or whatever. I've got a Buzz and I've got a Woody.
And I've got a bag of boogies.
You did have a bag of boogies, apparently.
Yes, I've thrown it out. My cold has subsided.
Bag of boogies.
So yeah,
what is it? Of boogies.
It happens. Actually, I don't think I've had a bad cold since I've been on keto.
That's good.
So
is that one of the purported benefits of ketosis?
I don't know. It's just something that has happened. I had like a mild cold, I think, over the summer, but nothing major.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I actually got legit sick.
What's in your brain, in your recently boogie-addled brain? What is the difference between? Did you say real sick? No, you said.
You can just get a little sick, and then your body maybe has encountered it sometime recently before, and so it knows what to do to get rid of it.
Right.
But maybe this particular cold
you've never seen before. Your body is
this variation of the cold virus I wasn't familiar with, and so it took a little bit longer to get rid of it.
Yeah. It's funny, no, it's not funny.
It's hilarious, Chris.
No,
Let's talk about
it. There was a joke in there involving sexual relations and people you're not familiar with, and how that it's the opposite of a cold. But it didn't coalesce into what they call a joke.
Okay.
A joke that
just most of this show.
A joke that Mr. Oswald might say.
Okay.
Back and to the left.
Is that what he said?
No, that is what she said. You had a bag of boogies, and you're better now.
Yeah, I mean, it happens that people get sick and they get better.
Healthy people,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and you're a healthy person because you don't eat sugar.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a healthy person because I don't eat sugar.
I forget. I'm supposed to not set you up. I'm doing a really shitty job. Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, I don't want to make it seem like I'm on a keto high horse that it's better for you.
Right.
It's better for me. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine if you have diabetes, it would be better for you.
What if you have diabetes? If you're Wilford Brimley, I mean, do you think Wilford
is he
Brimley
dead? Like, did we talk about this before?
I think us asking if Wilford Brimley is dead is another reason to drink. I mean, I know we haven't really talked a lot about the drinking game in recent months, but for those of you who have just joined us and never heard of the drinking game, every time Steve talks about One Piece, every time I talk about Patton Oswalt, you take a drink, and now I think if we ask if Wilford Brimley is dead, you also take a drink, because we never remember if he's dead. And I am just saying here with lots of pauses so that Steve can find the information that I think...
Are you fucking kidding me? He's alive.
He's alive. Wilford Brimley, huh? How old is he now?
He was born in 1934.
1934.
So you do the math.
I don't want to.
Okay. Don't.
2019 minus 19.
Let me just click on his Wikipedia.
85 years old. Okay, so it's not that weird that he's still around.
Yeah, I mean, that's not unreasonable. Wait, no. Oh, wait, that was his wife that died.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Not Mr. Brimley himself.
That's fucked.
That he's still alive at 85? Why is that fucked?
I don't know, because he has diabetes.
Diabetes. Fuck these headphones. Every once in a while, the headphones just squeeze my brain, squeeze my ears too tight.
So yeah, for Mr. Brimley, I think it'd probably be a good idea to avoid carbohydrates.
Can you imagine a cut Wilford Brimley? I gotta look this up for later. A cut Wilford Brimley, just
like if someone sliced him.
No, well, yeah, and butter and put him on toast. No, I'm saying like a Wilford Brimley with just rock hard abs, standing out there on the beach, picking up the ladies.
I forget who was that guy that was like the Adonis guy that was like an old man that was doing lots of workouts and he had like the six pack the kind of like old man saggy boobs six pack going on.
Right? Yeah. I don't. Jack LaLanne.
Yes, that was the guy.
Holy shit!
You got it. You pulled it out of fucking thin air.
That's pretty good. He was a flabby guy. Is that what you're saying?
No, he was fit, but like when you're that old, when you're fit, like you look a little dumpy.
This is true. This is I
because your skin just isn't fucking.
Yeah, your skin is not as elastic anymore, and you're gonna gain the little paunch. I mean, the goal.
I don't think it was the paunch. It was just the man
boobs. Maybe he had too many steroids. Maybe he had too much.
I don't think he was. Well, he might have been on steroids. Jeez, this is not something that I do not want to look up.
Yeah,
so
no. I would like.
Let's just assume that Jack LaLanne wasn't on steroids.
He wasn't on steroids.
Just so we don't
shatter the illusion.
Yeah, and maybe his estate won't be like cease and desist, horribly off tote bags.
We
should have tote bags.
We should have tote bags. That seems to me that I'm carrying all of our equipment in a tote bag when I come over here. So
we should have a horribly off tote bag.
Cease and desist horribly off tote bags.
I think that's a little bit much. We could just say horribly off tote bag. Or the tittle.
Somewhere in there I had a thought. I had a question. I had a query. It was not about Wilford Brimley. I don't know if it was about Jack LaLanne. Oh. So I have gotten sick here and there. According to you, I did not have the flu, but we won't argue about that. But
I would love to argue about that.
We're not going to argue. But so I have been sick. I have not been on the keto. I have gained some weight over the last couple of years. And rather than get mad about it, which I tend to do, I decided over this past week I was going to start to look for like ways to dress better for the shape I have right now. Now, I'm not saying that I'm abandoning all hope of getting thinner again. I'm exercising every day. I'm trying to watch what I eat, but my body doesn't seem to want to. Right now, doesn't seem to want to change. So what can I do?
Your body, like when you get older, doesn't want to change. So you have to
I'm fucking Wilford Brimley.
You have to take drastic measures. You can't just do casual workouts. Like you have to make massive change.
I get this, but
back when remember when I was like killing myself at the gym?
Yes.
Like every day.
Yes.
And I was fucking like.
But I
only lost 20 pounds doing that.
I skipped. So here's the thing. I am doing my workouts now more for mental health than for physical health. I hope that they're helping my physical health. But I took not this week, but the previous week, I took 2 days off, and they were the worst 2 days. No, actually, it was this week. I just happened to be very active enough that I hit my goals. But I missed my morning workout 2 times this week, and they were the worst 2 days I've had in a very, very long time.
All right. So
anyway, that's not. I don't want to talk about diets and exercise. That's not what I was trying to get at.
I'm not saying go keto because it's really fucking hard, and I don't imagine it would be easy to do with the family.
No, not in the house that we live in.
What I'm suggesting is to cut sweets out.
And Stephanie and I are working on this together. So this week, she is going to try and get, because she's doing better with food, but not with activity. So she's going to try to get on our elliptical 3 times this week. And I am going to try not to get sweets from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts.
How about just in general?
Well, in general, but when I leave the house and I'm at work and sometimes I am feeling stressed out, I will go out to get a coffee, and I will also get a muffin, or I'll also get a whatever. And so
if you really just, if you need to get something to eat when you go to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, get it.
No, I don't. And I think that's the point is, if I want to go out to get a coffee, I can, but what I promised is I'm not buying food from those. That's what I decided. That it's so little changes is what she and I can handle right now. So that's what we're
just
going.
Baby steps, and then maybe, just maybe you can make a bigger step in the future.
But in the meantime, I can do a lot for my self-esteem by dressing for the body that I have instead of the body that I want to have. So I have shirts that don't fit. I have pants that don't fit in a different way. Like my shirts, a lot of them are too tight. My pants, my jeans have all stretched out. I think they had some stretchy fabric in them or something, and now they're all sort of falling off me. So I went, and the whole point of all this, and I can't remember, is something about Jack LaLanne that made me think of it.
I think I might have some old pants that maybe they'll fit. But you are a little bit taller than me.
Yeah. I wish I was taller. Wish I was a baller. I forget the rest.
I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
I do have a girl who looks good, and I can call her. We suck on the phone. She and I, we can't talk on the phone. It's like been a thing since 1998.
Well, I don't think anybody is really great on the phone.
I don't know.
People that work in sales or have that sort of
I had friends and maybe a girlfriend who were fantastic on we could talk forever. So it's just, and that's why it shocked me so much that when Stephanie and I would get on the phone early when we were dating, there'd be these huge silences where she was waiting for me to talk and I was waiting for her to talk and nobody talked, and we just
How did you progress from there?
Well, because we lived in the same house. We didn't have to talk on the phone a lot, but it was during those times in the early going when we would have a spring break that we didn't spend together, or a holiday break or whatever, that we'd be on the phone and I'd just be like, this is, yeah.
Well, I've been told that I'm either horrible on the phone or really good on the phone.
Yeah.
As far as doing work stuff, because I wouldn't voluntarily be on the phone if I didn't have to. That was one of the things that was great when Becky and I started dating. She never I'm not a fan of talking on the phone, and she would only.
So in that way, you are you would be fit right in with those millennials. They don't like the phone. They don't like to talk. Texting, that's their thing.
I don't even think it's texting anymore. I think
millennials Snapchatting and
millennials maybe. I think they might still be
the next generation is
Z. I think they're Snapchatting. Or doing something else that I am 3 generations removed.
Yeah,
from.
I know. By the time I had a Snapchat, I was going to say by the time we have Snapchat, but I had a Snapchat a couple of times, and every time I deleted it.
Once 40-year-olds have Snapchat, it's over.
I got to think about 40-year-olds. I got to talk to you about, but I think I probably don't have any more to say about the
telephone.
The clothing. So I was looking up what my shape was, and what I have
some shirts too, they're they don't fit you. They're enormous on me. I don't know. They might not. I mean, they might be big on you as well, considering.
Okay. Yeah.
But they might not be as big.
Right. Well,
wait, small, big, what? 4?
I don't know. At any rate, so I was debating whether I was one of 2 sizes on this men's site. Oh, but the other thing that these sites suggested, and I think this
what
is
sites?
I just did a search for how to dress if you're a flabby guy. I think that's what I put in there.
In layers.
Layers is definitely one of the things. And
Kevin Smith taught me that when I was younger.
Fuck that guy. That guy fucking. Have you seen pictures of him? I mean, he basically, after he had the heart attack, he adopted the sort of same. I think his daughter is vegan, and so he got into the sort of or plant based. That was the thing that I read the other day.
Why? Because he likes smoking pot too? Is that why?
No. He doesn't. That wasn't from him. But no, I was looking at something the other day, and the person distinguished themselves as following a plant-based diet instead of being vegan because they didn't like the stigma attached to the word vegan or some damn thing. And I was like, oh, it's just like, well, I mean, I want George Carlin back. I just, like, vegan is fine. I get what vegan is. You tell me plant-based, and I'm like,
no, but if you look at the same like token of the someone who refers to themselves as a feminist, it could mean somebody that cares about women's rights. And
so why can't we have second wave vegans? That's
okay, but then there's also feminists out there that like the fucking the dworkin kind that
yes, there are. I don't know how many waves of feminists there are at this point, but they are still feminists, right? And
yes.
So the term,
but like because of the earlier waves or waves that had more negative connotation to them,
right?
There is a stigma to it when there shouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay. So you're suggesting they should also have a new term for themselves?
I don't know. Like if you are vegan and you eat what you eat, that's fine. Call yourself a vegan.
Right.
I think the thing that when people get mad about it is when you are vegan and then you yell at people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get us horribly off topic.
Right.
I'm only breaking, just so everyone knows, I will only break out the choking horribly off topic
when Leo's here.
For Leo, it was a special.
So you're going to have to wait until he comes back.
Yes, Leo made a special request. I threw it in last week. I apologize to Steve and to anyone else who I grossed out.
Everyone else is what you mean.
Leo asked, and I delivered. So I looked up my body shape, clothes. Yeah, I think that was it. But it was intrigued at some of the stuff that I saw. I was like, oh, that I like that. That makes sense. Mostly I want a pair of jeans that doesn't fall off of me.
Okay.
And I think that means buying a pair of jeans that doesn't have any stretchy, but it's in like your Targets and your whatever, it is impossible to find a pair of jeans that doesn't have
a bit of stretchy material,
a bit of spandex or something in it, and
so you're gonna have to go to Gap, and that's expensive or something like that.
What about probably if Target sells Levi's, you could probably find and Levi's does sell ones that have.
Or maybe you go to Old Navy, like they have.
I'm pretty sure Old Navy has even more stretchy.
Yeah, shit. But those are cheap as shit. So you could get something that's a little bit too small and then stretches.
Right. Yeah, it's just been
everybody could see a package.
Oh, nobody needs to see that.
All the ladies will be like,
there's not much to see.
The Clark package.
Oh my gosh, we know Clark. They'll
be like,
I'll walk into class.
We know you have a penis. We can see it through the jeans.
We know.
Can you please stop wearing them? I mean, and by that I mean wear other pants. Yeah. Don't not wear pants.
I went looking for so I went onto Amazon. I was trying to find not to buy, but at least to save. Like, oh, here are some of the things that I might buy. And I was looking. I actually did a search for a professor jacket, and I couldn't find anything. It was really weird. I was looking for something that would. Maybe it was that they don't make. They've got to make professor jackets big enough for people like me because they probably make them for guys even bigger than me. I don't know. I just couldn't find
just
tweed.
Just so you know, kids, like Chris is not that big. Like he's playing off like, you know,
I
that he's
feel
like,
I feel big, and I've got body image issues, and that's why I have friends who have dealt with that I talk to, and I talk with my therapist about it. But you know, one of the reasons that I really love this therapist, because we've now been talking about the same sort of very important thing that I've never talked with anybody about and never dealt with for like a week and a half now, and we're going to talk about it again this Friday. But
we're going to talk about it again right now.
No, but what it means is that the day-to-day stuff, including like me feeling shitty about my body or what I'm wearing, that's kind of because we're trying to get to one of those core things. But, you know, like a core memory in Inside Out.
Oh, okay.
You ever think about what?
I've only seen that movie
You've only seen it once. They've got the islands of personality, like and those are powered or built on core memories, and so she has some of those.
The planet core.
The planet core. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Who doesn't want don't watch Inside Out again.
Planet core.
Watch fucking episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I've watched that one a whole bunch.
You have, and you love it?
I don't love it, but
the first time I saw that movie was with you.
We have talked about that, yeah. And we went in when it was dark, and we came out and the sun was coming up.
Yep. And then I saw it again later that day.
I did the same thing.
And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like the second time around, when I had gotten a night's
when you'd
sleep,
had sleep, and yeah,
I was like, "Wait, hold on, hold the phone. That was not a good movie."
Yeah,
and it was really fucking long.
We talked for a second about Steve. I think this was Steve Weintraub. He's the editor in chief, or like the big head honcho over at Collider.com. And he's a guy.
Collider.com. What is that?
Their movie website.
Movie website.
Yeah, and I generally I really respect his opinions, and he gets on well with all the Hollywood types, so he gets great exclusive interviews and stuff like that. Well, he had a tweet this morning, or it might have been yesterday.
You know what? We need more ethics in movie journalism.
No, that's not. No, that's not true, and that's not what he said.
No, that's what I said.
He was.
I'm tired of these fucking guys that just like suck these Hollywood guys' dicks or pussies or gender neutral genitalia.
There are dicks and pussy.
It could be like an amalgam of the two, right?
Okay. Yes, you could be an intersex person and have genitalia that are of both.
Or you could just be like a Ken doll. Maybe there's somebody that's like that.
There might be. Michael Keaton played Ken in the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, and he was just like,
or Toy Story 3.
So like people like that would be like, just suck my nub.
Yeah, yeah. Could you picture Michael Keaton saying "suck my nub"? I think that would be.
I want to call him. Let me get him on the horn.
Michael Keaton, suck my nub. Suck my nub. No, what the hell?
I don't know. I was just being a dink.
Oral sex. Somehow we were talking about.
I was just talking about ethics and movie journalism.
Steve Weintraub. So he had a tweet about Black Panther winning an award at, I forget which. It wasn't the Golden Globes, or it was at like another awards show, and it won the award for best VFX. And I think Infinity War must have also been up for it or something, because Weintraub's tweet was about the fact that the weakest part of Black Panther is its CG, which I think that's
very true.
It's very true.
I think the character development and the interactions between those characters are the best part of that movie.
Exactly.
And the video effects, I think, is that what the VFX
VFX or visual effects.
Visual effects, those were surprisingly not great.
Yeah, I mean, especially that last fight between the two of them
with Killmonger.
Yeah.
And
I really I was taken out of what was an excellent film otherwise every time they started making the two of them sort of jump around.
And they were jumping up and getting down.
Yes. So I think I didn't check to see if he was getting a lot of shit for that tweet, because I think it could be misconstrued. I read it, and I think this is what he intended, is that Black Panther is a great fucking film. And the fact that and Disney and Marvel have actually put it out there for consideration for the big awards, so for Best Picture, for those things. I think
did that come out last year?
Yeah, came out in February of 2018.
So that puts it in contention for this year's Academy Awards that apparently no one's hosting.
Yeah, no. Yes, because when we've run out of men, we can't possibly have a woman host
Has there never been a woman hosting the Oscars? I give zero shits. There are people out there that like their Oscar parties and have
I had friends who were super into it in college, and that's when I started following it for a few years.
But like the you know me in musical numbers. And that
Steve, how do you
that
feel about
is prime musical number territory, and that just makes me just go, thanks.
Yeah. No.
But I remember like Letterman doing doing the Letterman show for
like afterwards or
beforehand? Like when he was hosting. He was hosting. I think it was the Oscars. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's right. He did do it at least one or a couple of years.
Kept on playing clips from like Cabin Boy.
Chris Rock did it for a couple of years, I think, and was excellent.
What about Ricky Gervais?
Can't remember. I feel like the only woman that I can think of that might have hosted it in the recent memory would have been Ellen, because I think the awards are on ABC, and I don't know who just...
Then have Ellen do it again.
And that's what everyone was saying, but apparently once there was the controversy about what's his butt, who had been asked, the short black comedian...
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. Once there was that controversy, it seemed like they stopped looking for anybody at all. And where people on the internet were like, "Why? There are plenty of women who could host it," and it didn't seem they were throwing suggestions. Not that whoever's in charge of these things pays any attention to the internet, but
they're all like 100 years
except when
old.
they're going to fire somebody.
That's when when like James Gunn or whatever else, like Kevin Hart, I think is a pretty all right dude. He made a joke, and it was probably fucking 10 years ago when I think a shit ton of people were making similar jokes.
When people
we don't, how about not firing people for doing things like he has grown and adapted his comedy, and so like unlike what a lot of other comedians have done,
right.
So like he has maintained his comedy over the years. Like I imagine one of our favorites, Patton, I imagine, or definitely your favorite. I enjoy him as well, but like I mean, he's definitely not the same comic he was when he was fucking like in fucking one of my favorites, Bill Burr. Like, he's definitely developed over time. He's definitely he's always had a hard edge, but like he's softened as he's grown older. Yeah, gotten married, had a kid. Like those kind of things will change you as a person, right? And you'll care more about
I wonder whether they did ask people, and everyone said no, because of how things have been going the last couple of years. That people being asked for this kind of high-profile gig are just like, it's not worth my career. Because the moment you get selected to host the Oscars,
you get scrutinized.
There's somebody out there, especially if you're. It seems to me, especially if you're anywhere left-leaning in your politics. The bots and that whole network of people who just want to see
this is us getting hoisted with our own petard here. Like this is something that happened before, that we are people on the left. I don't consider myself one of those people that were being on the internet pile-on of someone saying something wrong or doing something wrong.
Right.
if it was somebody that I disagreed with,
yeah,
you know.
But I mean, you can, and I think probably you can make the argument that James Gunn was targeted because James Gunn was such a vocal critic of the current occupant of the White House.
Right. So like we developed this technology to destroy people's careers on the other side, and now it's getting used
against us. Yeah,
very much against us.
So yeah, no host for the Oscars, which I don't think is what I was talking about, but I can't remember what the fuck I was talking about.
Do you want to talk about the 40 movie that you watched?
Okay, so I have been. Everyone knows that I tend to watch things in the morning during my workouts.
I don't know how the hell you work out in the morning. I'm up, I eat breakfast, I take a shit, I take a shower, and I'm out of the door
every day. Except maybe those two. Well, anyway, generally every day, including weekends now. Up at 5 a.m., exercise, eat, and then either shower and go to work, or on Saturdays and Sundays, start writing. And it's the only way that I've managed to stay sane in any. And so I'm dead tired by the end of the night. I am now both on my medicine, which is an upper, and drinking coffee again to get through the day. But it's working. You know, I've gotten 4 6-hour writing days. You know, the past 2 Saturdays and Sundays.
And all these uppers, you like 6-hour jack sessions after you finish writing.
No jack sessions
like
lately.
You're the edgelord.
No, I as we talked about on a
and I wasn't using that in its actual like definition. I was like talking about Chris almost making himself come and then stopping himself from coming.
As we've talked about recently, I needed to cut back on some expenses, so I cut back on my
comings and goings.
Well, no, I cut back on my pornography intake.
We talked about that last week extensively. We don't have to go into super details.
Well, okay, so I'm not going to talk about that. So people might ask, well, why do you need pornography to masturbate? And I think that is a very good question.
So maybe you just need to steer yourself back into the land of the imagination.
I think this is where I was going. So there's a
so you're not exploiting anybody,
right?
And
except possibly the people that I'm remembering that are coming into my imagination, I'm possibly exploiting them.
No, you're not, Chris.
Through the past, I don't. Okay, all right. I'll take your word for it. I'm not exploiting them. Continue.
Like you can have thoughts in your brain
that don't exploit people,
that don't hurt people, because if
they're just thoughts.
Unless you say to that person that you've like had this weird jerk off dream of or whatever, then they don't know about it.
Okay.
And so therefore can't be hurt.
All right.
Well, what can hurt is if you get so wrapped up in this sort of fantasy that you find it to be some sort of reality, and then you take that sort of sexual energy towards the person that you're thinking of.
Right. Well, so I
should have been a fucking psychologist.
You should have been. You picked the wrong major. Communications psychology.
Well, I mean, I could develop that into like a what is it? A master's in
master's in
not psychology, but like what the fuck?
Sociology?
Yeah. Well, not sociology, but whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so.
But yeah, I would never make any money doing that.
One of the things what I've been writing about is my next novel is about a woman again, except that this time, unlike Missing Mr. Wingfield, the woman is straight. And so that has been, it was interesting to me as I sat down to write it. I was like, I'm pretty good at writing men who are attracted to women, and I'm pretty good at writing women who are attracted to women. I am not so good at writing anybody who's attracted to men, and so I was putting out some feelers and trying to get a lot of input in terms of female voices talking about sex and talking about sex positively and why they enjoy the penis if they do. which I.
Yeah,
I mean, because of what I'm researching, I'm looking for people who do enjoy
the penis.
Yes, and
so are you getting like focus groups or something like that?
Well, I have not tried to do a focus group yet for people who enjoy the penis.
That would seem kind of odd as a 40-something
as a focus group.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're just trying to get like a scath of young women to talk about how much they like dick.
What I did is
that might seem predatory is what I'm saying.
Well, and this was coming back to a podcast that I have on here and coming back to the issue of masturbation. So what I ended up doing, I went on to Facebook and Twitter, and I asked people for their suggestions of movies and books from a woman's perspective, written by a woman, if possible, about their attraction to men, preferably decent men, because I'm also not writing about somebody who's attracted to shitheads. So like it would be relatively easy to go out and find people talking about the shitheads that they've slept with or who have done terrible things to them. I feel like I got that covered. I understand, maybe not entirely. I don't understand it like a woman who's been through that shit would understand it, but I've done that research.
I don't think anybody's accusing you of understanding how women feel.
Right. So yes, nobody's accusing me. So many layers deep, but I was going to say, have you ever seen As Good as It Gets? Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And there's the line in that where the secretary at the office he visits is in love with his books, and she says, "How do you write women so well?" And he says, "Well, I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability." And then the elevator doors shut, and she looks bewildered, and he's got a shit-eating grin on his face. Yeah. That's not how I write women. But anyway, so I've been looking for...
you just wanted to say that line because you thought it was very clever.
Well, it's a line that I think of a lot because I think it's such an unsatisfying line. And I think Nicholson's character doesn't honestly believe that. I think he's saying it because he's
trying
annoyed.
to get a rise out of somebody because he's sort of he's what we would consider a troll before the internet became a thing.
Yes. And I don't think we actually encounter any of his writings, so it's hard to tell whether
whether it's good or not.
Whether he's BSing or he's being true when he says that line. Anyway, that line is not what I was going to talk about. None of this, it's what I was going to talk about. Okay. So, amongst the things that I have discovered in my research is a podcast. Let me find the name of it here.
Are you going to give it a plug? Oh, while you're looking for it, I'm going to give Dan a plug for providing us with sort of tweaked, sort of put a little spit shine on the old theme music. And you're going to have used it in this episode, correct?
Yes.
So you probably noticed it at the top of the show.
We were going to talk about it at the top of the show, and we got onto the bag of boogies too quickly.
Yeah, of course. But yes, so thank you, Dan, for providing us with a sort of shiny, the same but different,
sorry,
little bit better theme music. So we appreciate it.
Yes, we do. I got the. I was working this weekend for the MFA program that I help run, and so I came back to my email and I had 2 messages from Dan. He had sent an initial version, and then he'd done even a little bit more work. So. We are very thankful.
We're thankful. We appreciate it. It's awesome. I like it. I mean, I liked it before, but
yeah, I did too. I mean, he put the fade out in there, so like
now you can just you don't even have to do anything.
Oh my gosh, anymore. It's so yeah.
You made Chris's life a little bit easier.
Yeah. So the podcast I was looking for was the Guys We Fucked podcast. And it's funny. It's like I have no idea how I found this.
I think I've actually heard an ad for that, and it might have been something that was on Gimlet Media or whatever Scott Aukerman's one is.
It is by two
Earwolf?
female comedians. I'm trying to get the second one's name because it's
what production company produces it?
It does not have. I think they put it out on their own.
Oh, I thought it was like maybe Gimlet or what Dan Harmon's or Scott Aukerman's. I think might have been had something to do with it because I thought I heard an ad for it on one of their shows.
Okay, well, so it's Corinne Fisher and Christina Hutchinson. They are the regular hosts, and
do they have guests on?
They do. They
usually I imagine it would be like you get through your list, and then you don't have any more guys to talk about anymore.
Yeah, no. So they at least I've listened to 2 episodes so far, and the each time they've had a guest, and they start off with a little bit about themselves or a news item. Sorry, the news item or like what's been going on with them, and then the bulk of the episode is with a guest. So this particular time, Christina, I just wanted to make sure I got it right by looking at the show notes here.
You wrote notes?
Her show note, their show notes.
Oh, I was going to say, what? You wrote notes about their fucking show?
No.
We didn't write even ones for this show.
No. But Christina went to a sex club during the lead up to this previous episode, and she talks about it. She had, for the most part, a hell of a time with the guy that she's with, and describes some rather intense and hot stuff that they did. And one of the things that she describes, she then goes on to say she's going to, it's in a permanent, I don't know if she uses the term spank bank, but she might have used that. She's going to have that sort of always there in her imagination. And that did get me thinking, to get back to the original point of this digression,
that I had a bag of boogies.
Remember when I used to do like the nested show to try and there was a certain point at which I could not, like, there was a lot of fucking nested. Anyway, so I was thinking about that the other day when I heard her tell that story, that why can't I just go into my imagination, as you said? Like,
right.
Why do I need? And I think it's a guy thing to some extent, and maybe some girls and non-binary people too, like are more visual, but the visual has always sort of helped me out, and my brain is fucked up. So my brain tends to go where it wants to go, and
just try like whispering things into your own ear, like just like record yourself, like when we're not doing the podcast, and then whisper things and like things that might try to turn yourself on by saying things. Should
I run it through the filter that theoretically makes my voice sound more female? Yeah. That doesn't work that well, but that's one of those things I feel like they with all the
who's they
Apple, Google, whoever, with all the computer learning that's out there, I feel like they could come up with a better filter that would take a voice and turn it into a different voice.
Just be like, maybe have it be some like 1920s person. Be like,
oh, okay.
Hey, Chris, let me dare suck your cock, huh?
So it's like a 1920s salesman, and he's come.
Hey, come delivering encyclopedias, and who I've got.
Bill and Ted picked him up for their latest science.
I've got dick sucking lips.
Oh man.
Does that get you going?
No, but I'm trying to imagine.
Work on it.
I feel like I've heard that description before, and is it big lips? Is that what dick sucking lips are? Like I think I've read it and then not seen, like, not been able to picture in my mind like what. Does it vary from person to person? They
think it's just big lips.
Big lips. So like Steven Tyler could if you were doing
or live.
Yes, but when you did the 1920s salesperson,
hey,
I thought
it's
you were
me, Liv Tyler.
Okay,
I'm come here to suck some dick.
I didn't think you were doing a woman. I thought you were doing a man, and so
I could be either.
Okay,
I have an interesting voice.
All right. Well, it is. I don't think that'd work. Honestly, so I think maybe I could go on
maybe next time.
Maybe I could go on to site like Fiverr, so I'm not exploiting anybody, and I could get somebody to say sweet nothings into a recorder, or maybe I could ask my wife. Although,
I think that might be the most ideal.
And I think I upset her a lot. So
When did you do that?
My daughter's been Melody has had her stuff on her leg is infected, and I apparently did not phrase my message to Stephanie well enough because and she's very sensitive about it because she blames herself, and now I made it worse. So I don't think she's going to be whispering any sweet nothings into my ear.
You don't have to do it tonight, Chris. There's plenty of time. Apologize to your wife, and then have yourself a regular evening.
Yeah,
and then maybe in a couple of days, maybe a week, you could try again.
Okay. Do you think I could reach out to Michael Keaton and ask him to say "suck my nub" in Ken's voice?
I forgot
in the voice of Ken.
I forgot to get a hold of him. Sorry.
From the okay, all right. So Steve's making that call. So
who was the woman like Nard Slapper, like Ms. The one that was talking about orcs last week?
Nards? No, I don't know.
What the fuck was this woman's name that
I
pretended to call?
I don't. We'll go with Nard Slapper. I think that's she could be the speaking of Kevin Smith, who we spoke of a little while ago.
We're all over the fucking place.
Nard Slapper could be the female sidekick of Cockknocker, who is played by Mark Hamill in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
And speaking of who we had on last week, Leo,
yes,
his other name that we had for him was Nards.
Nards. Okay, so is Nard Slapper his like arch villain? Like if there were a comic book about Leo and his costumed hero name was Nards, his antagonist would be Nard Slapper.
Yes, and
so we mentioned This Is 40 a little while ago. Have you seen that film?
I have never seen the film.
Never seen that film. Have you seen Knocked Up?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm familiar with the character that it's Paul Rudd's character.
Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann's characters are in the film, as are the daughters of Leslie Mann and
Paul Rudd
from that movie, but they're actually Leslie Mann's real daughters with what's his butt who did the movie, who directed the movie.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow.
Yes.
They're fantastic. The two girls are great, and their chemistry with their mom. I feel like I have talked about this. Maybe I started watching it before the last episode. At any rate,
we have not talked about this anytime
about
recently.
This Is 40? Okay.
Well, anytime recently. I don't remember talking about it before. You might have talked about it when you first saw it, which would have been fucking probably like when we first started the show. Probably episode like 6, like the Pokeballs episode or whatever the fuck
something
it was.
like that. Yeah. So I was watching a little bit more of it this morning, and I was struck by
lightning,
the difference between the ad-libbed dialogue that was happening between. Let me back up. So
you were struck by lightning.
No, so the movie is about Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann's characters turning 40. Right? They have their birthdays a week apart. She is turning 40 at the beginning of the movie. He is turning 40, I think, at the end of the movie, if not sort of in the end of Act 2. So they're trying to make changes, and there's a lot of humor around that. Both of their dads have remarried younger women, and so they have siblings who are way younger than them. There's lots of stupid humor about turning 40, and there's lots of actually insightful stuff. But
that's usually what Apatow thrives on.
He's got some stuff that's really hits the nail, emotional nail on the head, and you're like, oh, that feels authentic. And then he's got other stuff that's just
goofball,
two
whatever.
Guys saying, I know how I know you're gay while playing video games.
Yeah, see, that that shit.
Yeah,
2000. What was that? 2007, 2006.
I don't remember.
Something like that. But that was like fucking 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was funny at the fucking time, but if you look at it now, it just doesn't seem as funny anymore because we have developed as people.
Yeah, yeah.
Bringing up my former point.
Okay. So in this film, in This Is 40, which is the sort of sequel to Knocked Up, in that it doesn't have Rogan, doesn't have
sorry, I wasn't in this one.
He's in a picture I discovered this time around watching it.
I knocked that chick up. Somewhere like a Muppet.
So there's Leslie Mann's character is running a clothing boutique, and
it's pronounced Botequi.
It's pronounced.
How the fuck are you gonna type that?
This might be in the I'd like to No, don't autocorrect me. Botequi.
Don't autocorrect me. I'm a man.
So there's a scene in the film where one of the threads in the film is there's an Asian girl who works for Leslie Mann.
Racist.
Who I think might have been in Knocked Up. I can't remember. But they have a close relationship. She's apparently, worked for this boutique for a long time. And there is a newer employee played by Megan Fox.
Racist.
Who, was a hot commodity at the time and is a much younger woman than Leslie Mann. And so there's a scene.
I don't know if much younger.
She's portrayed to be a much younger woman in the film. And so they are the Asian girl is trying to convince Leslie Mann's character that Megan Fox is shoplifting from the store. I think it turns out that the Asian girl is stealing money from the store.
That's racist.
But it's Judd Apatow. It's not me.
Yep. I blame Judd Apatow and society and
So there's a scene where the Asian girl suggests to Leslie Mann's character, you should ask her to wear stuff from the store. She's wearing this expensive clothing. Why don't you how is she affording this? And she's trying to sow seeds of doubt in Leslie Mann's character. So she goes over, talks to Megan Fox. Is it Megan Fox? Am I thinking of the right person?
I don't know. I haven't seen the fucking movie.
No, but the right actor. Jesus, I gotta make sure I got this part right. I'm pretty sure it's Megan Fox. Why does everything want me to sign into things? I don't want... It's IMDb. Yes, Megan Fox. So Leslie Mann goes over to Megan Fox. She says, "Oh, would you mind putting on something from here in the store?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, no problem." And so right there, kind of half in the store and a half in the changing room, but without closing the drape, Megan Fox takes off this outfit of hers, which is basically a belted long T-shirt, and says, "Oh, I made this." And so she takes it off, and she's there in her bra and panties.
Ooh.
And Leslie Mann, having recently turned 40, is now, her character, having recently turned 40, is sort of looking at Megan Fox and just being like, holy shit. And she says that, and she's like, how do your body, and she points specifically to Megan Fox's breasts, and she says, are those real? And Megan Fox says, yeah, you want to touch them? And she does, and she sort of jiggles Megan Fox's breast while Megan Fox stands there and kind of awkwardly, and so
they're real and they're fantastic.
She did not say that. She said they're real, and then trying to make Leslie Mann feel better, she said, "Oh, but by the time I'm your age, I'm going to look like National Geographic." She's. So here's the thing. I'm watching the scene, and
what is the thing, Rich?
I go upstairs, and I should be getting ready for work. I should be getting out the door. I should be doing a million things, but I keep talking to Stephanie about one thing after another because my Adderall is kicking in, and I'm just super excited about whatever I'm talking about. And so I mention my theory on this is that there's one of the things that makes that scene weird to watch is that it's obvious that it's a man came up with the concept of two ladies standing beside each other. And the older one just marveling at and maybe a woman would have come up. there's parts of it that feel authentic because I think there's large parts of it that they're ad-libbing. And so the two of them together, Megan Fox and Leslie Mann, do a great job of making the scene funny.
Wait, who is in this scene?
Leslie Mann and Megan Fox. What?
I didn't actually need you to tell me that. It's just that you've said their names so many times.
I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna be sensitive about that. So anyway, there
I
are
didn't
parts
mean to
of
make
it,
you sensitive, Chris.
Everything makes me sensitive. That's why I go to therapy. So I feel like there are parts of that scene that are tremendously authentic because they are the two women just talking
about titties.
Talking about titties in the way that the two of them, if put in this situation, would talk about titties. But I don't know that they'd actually be in this situation, except that a dude wrote a scene in which they're in this
I don't think they would have been, you want to grab my titties? Yeah. I don't think that would have happened.
That's what I'm saying. That's
the part that I find a little less believable.
Yeah,
like maybe like them being in a changing area together. But
that I believe. Yes, I probably have seen movies written by women that have that scene in them, but I've not seen movies written by women where one of them jiggles the other one's boobs.
Hank.
Mostly in public. I mean, the store is not doing that well. There aren't that many people in it, and there aren't any people in it at that time except for the other employee.
And the moral of the story is,
there isn't one.
There's titties.
There are titties. There are lots of titties in the world, and they're all shapes and sizes, and
yes,
they're all wonderful.
Right. Every titty is great, including yours.
Yeah, my man boobs are great. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. I think they're not.
Just give them a touch tonight.
Maybe that's what's missing.
What
while I'm taking care of business down below, maybe I need to be stroking my man boobs. Close my eyes. Try to imagine that the hair on the man boobs is not there. And
I find I get a little bit too ticklish, so it doesn't work for me. But some people like a little nipple play.
Maybe if I shaved the hair off,
you don't have to shave the hair off, Chris.
It would help my imagination.
But so you're imagining like that.
I'm imagining that I'm touching a woman's breast and not my own.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
I will not, because it's not going to go. I don't know that I could. I think so here's another part of it. It's like, I think, yes, the visual stimuli of an adult film helps me in terms of but I think it also distracts me, right? Yeah. Because I think if I were to sit there without any and just be with my body, yeah, it would last all of about 30 seconds before I was like, this is stupid. I'm stupid. Why does anybody do this? I'm going to go play in Photoshop.
No, but it'll be better for you, like for your imagination.
I don't need any help with you don't read my books, so
Becky does. So.
Becky, yeah. I found somebody posted a review on, I don't even know how I found this site. I knew it existed. Library Thing. I think on the
first book
on Missing Mr. Wingfield. Yeah, so they posted a really nice review, but nobody's ever going to see it. I mean, I think there are people who use Library Thing because when Amazon bought Goodreads, there were a lot of people who were like, "Fuck Amazon, I'm going over here." But I had completely forgotten that Library Thing was a thing, and I had not seen this review, and so it was a nice surprise. It was like, oh, here's another person who read the book, and cool.
You got them out there, Chris, and then there's somebody out in Malaysia or something like that that's can read it whenever they go to that hostel.
And I'm working on the next one. I think if my timeline goes correctly, I will be announcing maybe I'll announce it on the show.
That would be great.
The title of the next. Maybe I've already said it on the show. I
don't think you have.
Okay, I can't find it anywhere when I do a text search of my website. But
let's do it. Let's.
My plan was to announce it next Tuesday, but I can announce it.
We can record next Tuesday if you want.
No. I mean, people who listen to the show will get to know first.
Okay. And then you can do the official announcement on the website on Tuesday after the people that have listened on Monday have listened.
So there's a nice little benefit for the hot listeners.
If you're a hot listener and you're listening that the day it releases, the day it drops, as it's called in the business,
yes,
you will know the title of Chris's next fucking novel. Is it a novel?
It's a novel.
The next fucking novel.
Coming. All right, we're saying it here, saying it out loud. You know what else we're saying, Steve?
You can find the show notes for this episode
at clarkwoods.com/hot/221.
And you can send us an email like Dan did with the brand new theme. Which is
you don't have to write a song for us.
Yeah,
Dan went above and beyond.
We don't need a new theme because we just got a new shiny theme.
Yes,
but
an email would help, like giving us a topic to get horribly off of.
Yeah, because sometimes we just don't give a shit and don't prepare very well. So if you give us an email,
I like the ones where we don't prepare.
If you give us an email and give us something to start with, and then maybe we'll ramble into not talking about pornography for a week.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about it.
Hot at clarkwoods.com.